We gamers are a confused species. Why are we still playing a $60 bowl of toxic dog water over a $60 Michelin 3-star meal? Why do we purchase and play titles we know are going to disappoint us and avoid titles that others rave about? I mean, doesn't it sound fun to upset nature's ecosystem by removing every monkey on the planet? No? You just rather scream at your teammates more?
Oh god! Save it! Save it!
Okay, fair enough. I don't know about you guys, but for the past few months, and maybe even years, I've been stuck playing the same online multiplayer games on repeat. While I don't dislike them, I feel like I've played them so much, I don't really know how to do anything else. It's not that I don't want to explore and try new things, but I can't branch out because those games are too comfortable for me now. After like the 250th win in Fortnite, I've begun to wonder why I even still play the game. Oh yeah. So why can't we break this cycle of playing the same games? I think the answer lies in a game's replayability. Now, replayability will heavily depend on a bunch of factors for each person specifically. So just stick with me through this explanation because I will try to take everybody into account, but we'll see what we can do. So what does replayability entail? To start, we'll look at a game's uniqueness in the experiences it offers, and I think we can break it up into sections of multiplayer and single player games. An online multiplayer game is distinct because of its emphasis on connecting players to engage in interactive and competitive experiences. These games offer the ability for players to team up, strategize, and compete against other real people, resulting in a special, exhilarating experience for every game you play. Familiarity of the game builds upon itself in your mind as you explore and try new things against new people. The experience is unpredictable enough for every round you play that it is infinitely replayable. On the other hand, single-player games offer a more personal and immersive experience. Their uniqueness often revolves around narrative depth,
I got this.
character development, and the ability to shape the game world according to your choices. For most single-player games, there is a limit to the uniqueness that it can offer. There are only so many character plots, builds, and storylines that you can go do, that at some point, you will run into a situation where you have done everything you can do.
I think you need something like 4 playthroughs to be able to complete this.
While the experience is unforgettable and very unique, it is also never going to feel the same way as the first playthrough, as a lot of experiences will be so familiar.
Stop right there, criminal scum!
Some newer games have kind of broken this limit by offering procedurally generated content and a ton of different character styles, but at some point missions and playthroughs will just start to blend together a little too much. It will eventually run out of a unique replay. Next is the time and effort it takes for the replayability of games. Multiplayer games are incredible if you have a short amount of time that you want to burn on some mindless shenanigans with the boys.
Bro, watch me hump in this corner, bro.
What are you doing there?
These games can be as serious as you want to make them, and can take as long as you want them to take. You receive instant gratification as each game is less than a minute away, so you still have time to give your rotting brain an extra 30 seconds to check TikTok before your next loss. These games are very enticing because of the freedom you have to decide what you're going to do and for how long you're going to do it. Story games are a little different. You really have to devote your heart to a story game in order to get the best experience. It takes a massive amount of time and effort in order to learn about characters, explore everything a game has to offer, and mold the experience how you want it to look. It's an extremely freeing feeling, but as I'm sure many people can relate to, we live in a world that is not so free when it comes to our time. It is becoming increasingly hard to sit down and devote this time and energy into a game as schedules can be so unpredictable. You don't want to stop the enticing story once you started, but many need to, and when they do, they can become easily disconnected from the experience they wanted to have. So people, myself included, can avoid this situation easily by playing a game that doesn't require as much investment. The last thing I want to discuss is the challenge and mastery of these games. Online games are super enticing because you are able to easily tell how good or bad you are performing. It is very obvious who has mastered the game and who has not. These games are deceptive because the more you play them, the better you become. This is true of both genres, but because you can easily compare your mastery to your foes in these games, the challenge never really stops. Every game plays out differently, which challenges your instincts more than your knowledge, which leads to an insatiable desire to get better. You'll never be perfect, but man, you can get close. For story games, unless you want to devote your entire life to speedrunning, this might not apply as much in a competitive sense. Unless you actually achieve perfection and can beat a game without taking damage or something.
I've beaten the game without taking damage.
Challenge and mastery could look a little different, like a person's overall knowledge of a game, like how many Pokemon there are, or where every map location is in Skyrim. Or maybe their ability is to beat Elden Ring in the most unconventional way possible. The opportunities to challenge yourself are vast and can honestly spice up the game a ton, but there will always be a story path you have to follow, meaning there will always be an end to your challenge. As nice as that sounds, the time and effort comes back into play to bring you to reality.
My first playthrough of the game took me like 40.
Do you actually have all the time to play the mini games in Yakuza? Maybe you do, but you might be like the 1% of the population who does. Overall, each gamer's preference and perspective will be different from others. But I think the replayability of a game results in a gamer's willingness to devote their time and devotion to enjoy unique experiences. So I'm going to challenge you. If you're a little sweat like me, you're probably going to be tempted to hop back onto Tetris 99 after this video ends. You should try to devote yourself to play a story game again soon. Even if it's a short indie game, there are literally thousands of AAA titles you could benefit from. And for the Elden Ring basement dwellers, go try Fortnite again with a couple friends. Lower your IQ a bit and join the rest of us. I think you'll appreciate it.